Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode. I think it's like
9 or 10.
yeah, somewhere around there. Coach Corner, of course, for the Core K4. I am your host, Cody McCloris, joined today by the Imperator,
Greetings, my friends.
who's playing Kairo Setsubo and is still finagling with this door from last time.
The door that fell through space and time.
It's stuck there now. It's floating there now. It's part of the anomaly.
It's part of the anomaly. Oklahoma.
Yeah, yeah, Oklahoma. All right, so last time we got contacted by everybody's favorite Hermes Johnson.
Johnson.
Johnson, uh,
Johnson the Johnson.
and had to help one of his corporate friends do a thing. 'Cause he lost a ship of supplies, and so he
And
went
you
to the
would
thing.
think you would think that they had this under control.
Yeah, but of course not.
You'd
Uh,
think they'd learn from Captain Phillips.
I had to copy.
Great movie, by the way.
It is a good movie. Um, so we went to the ship with the helicopter. We bombed it a little bit. Uh, we took
Just a
it
little
over
bit.
a little bit. Shot up the dudes out front, and now we need to go and secure the bridge and the rest of the ship, and
Indeed.
make sure that we abide by the
Geneva Convention.
the contract that we were signed under for the other Johnson, Mr. Gilks.
No promises. I can only promise to uphold half of the contract. Uh, they said get the ship back. They stated nowhere what the condition needed to be.
And yeah, they say get the ship back and get the captain back, and that's it. And everybody else, everything else is expendable,
Indeed, indeed.
including the helicopter, technically. But we don't talk about that.
I mean, the helicopter is gonna come back with the boat, so I mean,
Yeah. Anywho,
so I
yeah.
mean
So
that's kind of a universal condition that we'll get the boat back.
Fixer's gonna go over by the helicopter. He's just gonna stand there in a catatonic state for a little bit. So
All right, sounds good.
feel free
Sir
to
Jimmy Jumbo Jr.
yeah, the bean.
Just is just gonna stand there catatonic.
Yep.
Great. So you're right by the guy, right?
Yeah, yeah. Bonus was he shot him in the leg and stuff, and he
Yeah.
got over and gonna interrogate him. I believe was the goal.
Yes, that's where we left off.
Yeah.
So, my friend, go ahead. What will you ask this man?
Um.
Oh, I just saw the side of the container too.
Yeah, Maltwart.
Malwart.
I mean, you were the one who wanted
Clever.
to interrogate him. Bonus just is like holding him down after shooting him in the leg with a deagle, basically.
Oh, all right, cool. I'll go up and interrogate him then.
Alright, you go up in this poorly dressed, disheveled,
Eh,
in pain mercenary.
bleeding profusely.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna like grab him by the hair
Okay.
and stick the barrel of my gun right under his jaw and have him look me dead in the eyes on my mask. And you're gonna tell me what I want to know. How many are in the bridge?
Make me a charisma check at advantage.
All right, starting off strong rolls today. And bam, 5. That definitely passes.
Alright.
Charisma stat of 7.
Alrighty. So,
That would have been really bad if I had just rolled charisma stat because I got a nat 1 without advantage.
yes, he reaches into his pocket, pulls out a grenade, and then explodes everybody, and we all die. Campaign over. We died on a cruise ship. There we go. That's it.
Roll credits.
Yeah, roll credits. Um, Yeah. So you know he tells you that there are four well I guess three more guys left, and then there he's commander. He's like the company leader. Is
So four
also
total.
referred to. Yeah, four total, and then there are seven crew members that are like the whole crew of this ship, basically.
Okay. Who do you work for? And I'm gonna press the barrel up into like the soft part of like the middle of his jaw.
All right, give me another charisma at advantage.
All right.
I forgot our dice are submersible now. We're rolling in the water.
Yes. Yes.
Four, still a
Four.
pass.
Yes.
He tells you that he was anonymously hired through like the black market, basically, or through like you know corporate like mercenary forums, you
Yeah.
know. Um, and then he gives you like the username of the dude that hired him. Uh,
And what would that be?
that would be um, XXX Big Stone XXX
Big Stone?
Big Stone.
Now comes the decision. Do I blow you away or do I let you live?
Do you ask him that?
Yeah.
He goes, "Well, I prefer if you let me live, but you know."
But what's my incentive? And I press the gun in deeper.
He goes, "Your incentive is the kindness that I know is in your heart."
I'm gonna take the barrel out and press it into the wound in his leg. Now what makes you think that I'm a kind person?
Uh, he
I'm
yells in
slob
pain.
squatting on this container.
He yells in pain, and then he goes, uh, "Well, you know." And he goes, "Oh, you guys probably work for Gilks, right? Yeah, no, that never mind. You guys are probably idiots then."
Did he say idiots? I'm
Yeah.
gonna turn to Bonus and ask him.
Bonus just like nods silently.
So I'm gonna tell Bonus, can you grab me a life preserver?
Yeah, sure. He walks over to like over to the side of the boat, and he just kind of takes that life preserver and walks it back up the little plank on top of the container.
Thank you. I'm gonna tie the life preserver to his leg
Okay.
and like pick him up by the back of the collar
Mm-hmm.
and waltz him over to the side. So so what I do is I take the rope that's on the life preserver,
Mm-hmm.
tie it around his ankle, the one with the leg that's shot.
Yeah.
And I'm dragging him over to the side, and I'm gonna I'm gonna like pull him over to the edge and like let him look over. You
All
want to
right.
be you think you're smart. Let's see how smart you are when you're drowning.
And he's
Does he have a
like,
response for this?
he just kind of like
Is he
spits in your face, I think, and is like, "Man, I'm only here because I got paid to do a job, same as you.
Oh,
we're on the same team here. We're not like corporate dudes. We're just random guys that got
oh,
paid to
that
do this."
reminds me. Can I steal his money?
Uh, I mean, he has like $20 on him, I guess. Yeah, sure, you can just mug
No,
him
no, no. I want to take his phone and steal his money from his bank account.
from his bank account.
Yeah.
You actually, well, you think would have his personal cell phone on him because he's on a mission. He only has like a radio to communicate
Well,
with
yeah,
his.
but he's got to have some way to check the bank account to make sure the pay goes through.
I'm not on his person. Not right now. It's back
I'm
on.
gonna take
You
a
know.
snapshot of his face with my helmet so that I can have Sir Don steal his face later and retrieve the money for me.
Sure.
uh, yeah, I guess I'll take his $20 in his wallet. I guess.
I take his $20. He has a photo of a little dog in his wallet.
I'll be kind because he's got a dog to live for. I'm doing this for the dog. I'm gonna take the life preserver. I'm gonna keep it tied around his ankle, but I'm gonna like drag it to me, like push it down around him on top of his arms,
Hmm.
and throw him overboard.
All right. You chuck him over the edge of the boat, and he begins.
He is now wearing the life preserver at least.
Well, yeah, he begins drifting away, slowly, and then you know he's gonna be trapped out in the middle of the ocean and die of thirst probably in a couple of days.
Oh well. It's either he makes it back to shore or he dies.
Well,
I
seeing
I
as
left it up to the elements.
we're like a good like 25, 30 miles away from shore minimum.
Hey, you know what? He might find a fisherman's boat. If he lives, interesting villain for later.
Right here. I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna roll a mercy roll to see if he survives.
Do it.
I'm gonna roll it in secret so that only me and the viewers know if he lives or not. Nope.
No, he doesn't.
Nope. He dies. He got a 10. He just barely dies. He sees
So
the
he's
shore and then he dies.
so he sees the shore and then gets eaten by a shark.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, now that that's over with,
Then you gotta
I
find
guess
a way
it's
to
time.
reach the anomalous door.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I guess we're gonna make our way to the bridge now.
Alrighty. So you make your way over to the bridge.
To the anomalous door.
Yes, the anomalous door.
So I'm gonna stack up on this side, and Onk is gonna be like next to me, aimed at the door,
Okay.
and I'm gonna have both of my pistols ready, and turn to bonus. How do you want to take this?
Trying to remember. Well, we don't have you don't have the underbarrel grenade launcher anymore because Fixer's gone catatonic.
Yeah.
I don't. We might have. I don't know. If I forget if I bought grenades for bonus or not. I'll look. Hold
I
on.
don't. I have my shotgun and my pistols, right?
Yeah.
What rounds do I have? Let me check on this. Oh wait. Oh, that's just a smoke screen. But I could use that.
Good. Yes.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give bonus the shotgun
Well, he already
to
has a
blow
shotgun.
open. Oh, okay. Then I'm gonna have him blow open the door, and I'm gonna shoot down a smoke screen, so we can enter unabated, or without being seen.
Okay.
Or I can do that anyway because I can take out the bad guys through the smoke.
Yes.
So yeah, we'll do that, I guess. So he's gonna shoot the door out, and I'm gonna pop down a smoke screen, which I guess we have to roll for
Let me.
to see how long it lasts.
Yeah. Let me get that sheet. Over here.
Oh, the door's there now.
Yes. Yeah. Alright, yeah. Let me launch the place. Okay. So, alright, yeah. So bonus, he takes out his like revolving shotgun, and he puts it up to like the big like metal wheel that kind of like locks the thing in place. And he kind of puts the barrel up like against the base of the wheel.
Yeah.
Uh, and he like looks to you for the signal.
I'm gonna give him an affirmative nod as I ready the smoke grenade launcher at the floor.
Hmm. Oh yeah, so you kind of like hit a button, and the little like smoke screen array like kind of like pops out from underneath.
Like the like the small side sight.
Yeah, 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 kind of.
Alright, I'm gonna give him the affirmative nod.
All right, so he and the metal wheel like slams away and like it's like bent and sparks fly everywhere. Um, the door opens up, and this is of course the bridge over here. So we are like,
Ah, ah. Alright, so as the door opens, I'm gonna like launch the smoke grenade into the corner of the room. There's no open windows in here, right?
well, this is the bridge, so there would be two up high, like over here and like over here.
Alright, so I'm gonna be launching it into like this corner.
Okay.
And those are open, right?
Well, no, they're closed, but you can see through them. They're on like the second
Okay.
floor, but
Okay,
they're there.
so I'm basically gonna be launching the smoke grenade into here, like around either like here or here then.
Okay.
And it's gonna like start spewing smoke. It's all arrows. Ah, these arrows!
They're blocking a line of sight. We can't see anything.
That would be very distracting, yes.
It would.
But yeah, I'm gonna launch the smoke grenade in there.
Okay. It's a radius of 3 squares in all directions. So if you want to
So they
launch it,
can't they can't see,
you're
right?
putting it. So you're putting it over here.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just gonna create
Well,
a.
it's also in an enclosed environment
Yeah. So it
in this
would.
tiny square room.
Yeah. So it would be so 3 squares. No, hold on. I have to. So 3 squares. Oh, right here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So it's basically like that.
Okay. Not as much as I was hoping, but it'll do.
Yeah, so this is the arrow zone.
Yes. Just arrows.
Arrows.
So say, imagining that, I'd imagine I have a line of sight on this guy.
Uh, yes, you'd have. Oh, I'll tell this guy. Bonus can see this guy.
I'm gonna take a shot at that guy. I pointed to my screen like an idiot.
This guy.
Yeah, this guy.
Okay. So you. Yeah. So make me the perception check for that, because you can see through the smoke because you have the thermal scope.
Do I make this an advantage?
Yes.
Grants advantage to perception checks. Yes.
Yeah.
So
If the target has a heat signature.
does he?
You know what? No, he's cold-blooded. No, yeah, he's heat signature. Yeah.
He's using the cold-blooded perk.
Yeah. Ghosts, cold-blooded.
9. Let's
9.
go.
Alright.
So I pull a perfect COD jump shot off.
You flicker on. No, you like mount on the side of the door and just.
Yeah. What do I roll for damage on this thing?
4d100, I believe.
4d100. All right. Starting off strong. Oh, he's definitely dead.
190.
190.
He's not totally dead, but he's close.
All right. So he's got like what, 10 health left?
Yeah, has to make a check to see if he remains conscious. He does.
He does remain conscious?
Yes. So he's still alive, technically. Very, very, very injured, but he's still there. And then
Why is there a question mark over here? What was that?
I don't know. He's gone now.
Oh, and now he's here.
Yes, of course.
Oh,
Alright, so this guy heavily wounded. Bonus. Well, actually, no. We can roll initiative at this point because the bonus round, the surprise round, has been over.
yes.
So
I'll roll for myself and Honk.
I will roll for the enemies first. They get an 11.
Ooh, I've got a 7. Honk's got a 6. What?
So Pharaoh's agility is 5. So you got a 6.
I got a 7.
You got a
Honk got a 6.
All right. So you both get 12 then because he has an agility of 7, I think.
Oh, hey, look at that.
And then bonus. What does bonus get? Ooh.
We can also
14.
roll initiative for Fixer. I guess.
He's across the
We're
map.
gonna have
It's
to
fine.
we're gonna have to have him get in here.
He's got 8. Let me get his sheet. So he did 6. So 8. So that's a 14.
Damn. Well, I mean, we already know he's gonna use all of his turns moving.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
He's back by the
4,
helicopter.
5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he gets about here. In a full turn of movement.
He's coming over the comms. I'm out of my catatonic stupor.
It's like Windows needed to update. I'm sorry. Windows
I had an
23.
update.
Yeah, I had an update. So that's him. Bonus. Bonus is gonna take out his revolving shotgun. Action number 1 is gonna reload that one shell back into the chamber, and then he's gonna pop in, and kaboom.
To this person?
Yeah, the guy he can see. Object determine success. This would be short range. This is maximum damage for him. It does hit.
Nice.
He's dead.
Oh.
So he just
Oh, wow.
pops in and the buckshot just goes. Oh,
Splintering into this person.
yeah, some of it like hits the crates and stuff around. That's his turn. Now we're down to Pharaoh and Ankh.
Alright, as Pharaoh, I'm gonna... Which one's the cap? Oh, that's the commander. Okay. So that's commander. I'm gonna keep my leaned position against the door, but tilt and target this guy.
Righty.
Ah, welcome, friend.
Haha.
I'm basically gonna rotate on the door frame.
Okay. Yeah, and
Well, switch out for my pistol, rotate on the door frame, and take a shot at this guy.
righty. You can do so.
Let me see here. Where's Hands of Anubis? Where are my pistols?
They're there. They're called the hands of.
Oh, there they are. There they are. 2d100. Excuse me, sir. I'm trying to roll this.
Roll faster.
That's a 9. Oh yeah. 2d100.
So you bang your little dinky pistol, your pea shooter.
Hey, pea shooter, but it does work.
120.
What did I say? It does work. 120. Thank you.
So right in this dude's like his like chest plate. So he's not quite dead, but he definitely felt that injury.
Indeed.
Ankh.
Indeed.
It is now Ankh's turn. He can see.
Ankh.
this
Ankh's
guy.
gonna do the same. Wait, who can you see?
He could see. Well, he could see this guy, but the smoke is there, so he could, if he moved, he could see this dude. And he moved, he could see this dude.
So what Ankh is gonna do is move uh to the same side as there uh this is weird. So Ankh's gonna move right into the doorway, but hover above it to where just the gun and his optical sensors are visible.
Okay.
So he can see inside the door. And he is going. I don't have a sheet for Ankh.
You know,
I don't think.
he's a pistol.
But we upped his what should we call it? We upped his caliber.
Doesn't do any damage. So does 2 to 100.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was two.
Yeah, it's always been 2.
Oh, okay. Because you didn't change it on my sheet. That's why. All right. We'll get that figured out. But yeah, Ankh's gonna fire at the same guy I just shot at,
Okay.
but he's gonna fire twice.
Alrighty.
Okay.
I believe they do both pass.
Very nice. Very nice. Might kill this man.
Probably.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
200.
Just 2 more pistol shots. Slam into the merc's like one clips his like chin, other one gets him right in like the forehead, and he falls
Very
over
nice.
backwards. Now we're over to the enemy's turn. This guy can't see anything, so he's going to.
I mean, he's assumably on the floor right now.
Well, actually, he has to make a check because he could fall unconscious again.
This is true.
Ah, I got a 10. Nope, he's fine. Merc Commander. What's he gonna do? Bad boys, bad boys. What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do now that you come for him? I think he's going to. He's gonna just effectively like duck on like behind the crate. I don't know why he didn't face through like that, but that's okay. So he's ducking. This dude, he is still conscious somehow. He's like bleeding profusely from his like gut, this big old red stain in his stomach.
Is he like putting pressure on the wound?
Yeah, but he's effectively blind in this thing, so he attacks with a disadvantage. So he's gonna try to shoot at Ankh at disadvantage with his.
I mean, he can't see anything.
He's gonna spray and pray, baby. He misses. He just and it's right underneath Ankh's little pistol module. So that's his turn. Back up turn order to bonus. And
Sir Jimmy Jumbo Jr.
Yeah, he has to spend his full turn moving again because he was across the boat.
Yes, you have to spend your whole turn
Lamau.
moving because you were at the helicopter in a fully catatonic state.
You can get to like here, I think. With your full
So
movement.
there you are.
After sprinting
There
his
you are.
full movement down the
There
length of
we
the
are.
ship. Bonus is going to. He's gonna go into the room. I think he's gonna charge in. He charges in, and let's see. So that would be 5, 10. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he can get. He just kind of peeks his head into the smoke, and he's gonna point blank murder this merc, who instantly dies because he only has like 10 health left. So he just walks in and just blows this dude a massive hole in his chest. He goes flying across the room, and then that's his turn.
I'll do the same thing and move in, and have Ankh in tow.
Right.
Move. Ah.
Boop.
Move right here. Gun trained on this guy. So I'm gonna like train my guns on this guy, and start talking. You're the last one alive. You have nowhere to go. Give it up.
Alrighty. Now that it is his turn, he stands back up from behind the crate, and he has in his hand a dead man's switch. Because of course he does. And
You know.
he goes,
Oh,
look.
continue.
He goes, look. He goes, I was only here to do a job. I was only supposed to to take this ship for a little while, so let me take your helicopter. You can have the boat. You can have the crew. You can have all that stuff. I don't care anymore. This isn't worth my time. You've killed all of my men. So just let me take the helicopter, and you'll never hear or see from me ever again.
I'm gonna look to Bonus.
Bonus is staring intently at the man with the dead man switch. At this point, Mr. Oid runs through the door.
Finally gets here.
He would be panting if he had lungs.
He would.
But alas, he cannot breathe.
I don't think that's something that we can allow.
Bonus shrugs. He cares not for corporate property. And the commander's like, well, that's a shame. And he just kind of like holds his hand out with a detonator. And you know what? Yeah, screw it. And he just drops the detonator on the ground.
All right, I'm gonna make an
you
agility check
guys.
here.
One,
I'm gonna make an
two,
agility
three,
check
4,
here.
5. Ooh boy.
Can I make an agility check here?
Yeah, you can make an agility check.
All right, I'm gonna try and grab the switch.
Is that how that works?
You were like 20 feet away. You could not grab the switch before he lets go. There's no
Won't
way.
stop me from trying.
All right, fine. You can try.
I got a crit! Give me that fucking switch, boy!
So you get.
Perfect 10!
So you dive over the table.
No, I dive over whatever cover I'm at, and I grab his hand and hold the switch.
So you dive over the cover. You see him begin to release the switch. You jump over the box and you leap over the other box. You're like full dolphin diving right now. Full W2 classic out the window on Nuketown, just dolphin diving.
No, you mean Black Ops.
Oh yeah,
I'm
Black
diving
Ops.
through windows with
Yeah.
ballistic knives.
Yeah, you're diving out of the window, and you tackle him to the ground. So you're both like over here now because you tackled him. You tackle him to the ground and you grab his hand, and you look.
Now I'm holding the switch.
You look in his hand, and it's empty.
That's bullshit.
And you look at the ground next to you, and that's the detonator. And it's got a little red blinking light on it.
So he lied.
No. And then you kind of look at him for a second, and he looks at you, eyes wide in shock. And then all the way over in the front of the ship, a massive explosion occurs, and the whole boat
R.I.P. helicopter.
Wow.
gets
Wow.
rocked.
So I got a crit success,
Yes.
and you still screwed me over.
You were 20 feet away. There's no way you would have gotten to him anyway.
I got a crit.
Doesn't matter.
It does matter.
No. You can't jump 40 feet or 20 feet. That's a like Olympic style jumping right there, my guy.
My life is on the line. Yeah.
So the front
I'm
of the boat.
digging deep for this.
So the front of the boat rocks. We hear like the metal creak, the lights flicker a little bit as the front of the boat that didn't have any real vital components on it. It's just like the front of the boat. The engine's over in the middle.
I'm mad. I'm mad right now.
So you hear this massive explosion go off. The boat tilts backwards a little bit, from the force. But yeah, you're just here holding this dude. The 6 crew members who are kind of like hog-tied, basically, like tied together in this corner of the room, are kind of just like staring at everybody, just like kind of terrified.
I'm gonna force his mouth open, stick the barrel in, and pull the trigger.
Sure, yeah. Insta death.
Let's go. Get the hostages. We're getting out of here. I'm mad.
With what? The helicopter's gone.
I got a crit success!
Doesn't matter.
Ah,
Rule of cool only
that
goes
is
so
the
far,
most
my friend.
biased roll ever.
Rule of cool only goes so far, man.
We're getting everybody life preservers and throwing them off the ship.
I mean, the boat's not sinking, so the helicopter's gone. The front's damaged. The terminals and everything in here, which are these tables.
All right, fine. Well, then we'll get the ship back. Whatever.
It's just a 1 gram perfect condition. You don't know what they tried to blow up or like what their plan was with that exactly. But they didn't they could have gone through the engine if they didn't. Whatever that guy was thinking.
I don't care. We got the ship back.
Yeah. So the crew members, they all retake their previous positions aboard the ship, over in there.
I'm going outside.
You go outside. Let's see. Bonus.
I don't care what's on the ship. I don't care about the ship anymore.
Go. And then this guy is gonna go.
I failed my crit.
The new captain. He's gonna go over here. Alrighty. So it takes a bit longer than it would have. Probably, I think we left like pretty early in the morning, if I remember correctly. So it's probably like noon by the time we get back to the oil rig with this huge plume of smoke trailing off from the front of the ship. And the crane is gone. We leave the crane behind. The unfortunate crane incident. The Hermes drone, that probably lands over here.
More poor decisions.
Yeah. Eventually, we do make it back, very slowly. And as we approach the oil rig, a bunch of like tugboats and little speedboats, they all approach the cargo vessel and like start like towing it over to make it go faster. And they evacuate the crew members and stuff. Medical staff shows up and they bring like other humanoid robots basically to like finish the automated like docking procedures. And they go and they get the crew members' medical attention. They take the captain's body that's in the middle of the room, and they bring that over as well. They clean up all the corpses of the mercs by tossing them into the ocean because they didn't really care about pollution. Yeah, all of us are ushered back onto the oil rig after more or less a successful mission. We didn't get the captain back alive, but most of the ship is back. Their helicopter's kind of kaput, but they knew that it was kind of like a loss anyway. They had a feeling it was going to be destroyed. So we were brought back on the oil rig, and kind of we like climbed the elevator to the back up from the ocean like level, I guess the water line up to the actual sea platform. And the doors open, and the good old Hermes Johnson, that you all only call Johnson, he's standing there, grin on his face. You know, the doors open, and his arms open up, and he's like, "Hey, if it isn't some of my most productive and profit-friendly companions, how did it go? I see you're all in one piece for the most part."
I'm just not gonna answer.
All right, he turns to, he's gonna like, bonus doesn't answer him either, so he's just kind of standing there like,
Well, It went well, and then it didn't go well.
And
Oh, by the way, I'd like to mention, by the time we get back to the yard, I've switched out of Garbanzo. This guy is
all right, so you're back into normal, quote unquote normal. Okay.
quote unquote, yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
Um,
okay.
we landed on the ship. We took down some of the enemies, but when we got to the bridge, their leader had a dead man switch and a bomb. Needless to say, negotiations did not go well.
Dante goes, ah, yes, that would explain the large fire on the front of the boat. Well, I'm sure Mr. Gilks won't have any real issue with that, so long as most of the materials and stuff survived. He doesn't really care too much about the actual ship.
The one time I try to play hero,
Hey man, that's what happens.
I'm done dealing with Hermes. I'm done.
And the Johnson's like, well, might not be 100% success. He's like, but did you guys get the captain back alive? 'Cause that was a pretty important part for Mr. Gilks, a family friend to his. You know how it is.
I don't know. We didn't check for a pulse.
And then Johnson goes, oh. Oh, I see. Okay. Well, he's not going to be too happy about that part.
We got the boat back.
He's like, yes, you guys did get the boat back. So let's go talk to Mr. Gilks. Let's see how he thinks this all went. And he kind of like, eyes kind of, like half closed, kind of staring off into the distance, doing some kind of weird mental calculation in his head. And he leads us all through the sea platform and back to Mr. Gilks' suite. I have a map for it now, actually. I maybe managed to find a map. So I can tell you
That's
exactly
got me
where we go.
so heated.
Let's see. Here's a map.
I'm so heated about that.
So go to the other elevators. Go up to Gilks' suite. You enter like the little like lobby area. Go through another door. Secretary is behind the desk, and she's like, ah yes, like you all must be the mercenaries that Mr. Gilks hired recently. He's like, yes, he's in his office. Just head on through. And the Hermes Johnson just kind of gives
Yeah,
her like
sure.
a finger gun and like a wink, and she blushes and like giggles and then lets him go through. And you enter Mr. Gilks's through the large sliding double doors, and he's there behind the desk, massive stacks of paperwork, a couple of like iPads going at the same time. He appears to be in a whole heap of bureaucratic trouble at the moment, and he kind of like looks up. His hair is a mess. He's not shaven. He's got dark rings under his eyes, more or less same as you've seen him before. He's still wearing that silk robe from last time. And he looks up from his work and he goes, you're back. He's like, please, I need good news. I need good news.
Well, we got the ship back.
Like, excellent. And I assume the assailants are dealt with?
We got the ship back.
We have the ship, though with minor damage. The assailants are all dead, yes. And I'm sorry to report, but the captain was not able to be recovered.
And Mr. Ghost kind of like puts his head in his hands, leans on the desk, and he's like,
Well, we're not sure of the state of the captain.
he always was a stubborn man. When we tried to attack the pirates, got himself shot or something. Well, I appreciate the work that you all put in. I assume that the minor damage you described wasn't to the cargo hold, yes?
Mm.
He's like, well, I'm sure I'll get some kind of diagnostic scan at some point soon that'll tell me what we're looking at. Did you get the helicopter?
No.
Ah, man, it's under warranty. Uh,
The drone's fine though.
oh, okay, good. I was about to ask. That's all right. Yes, that was on loan from another friend of mine. All right, good. Uh, well, you've all mostly done your jobs, I guess. So, uh, you know, uh, why don't while we see the state of the captain to decide whether or not you managed to actually save him or not. Come back in tomorrow. I'll have your payment ready and prepared, and the next yacht to bring everybody back to the mainland should arrive in about 4 or 5 days. So, feel free to hang around, use the facilities of the sea platform, and in those days, hopefully the captain will recover, and I'll figure out how much money I have to shield to get the bloody boat repaired. Find out. Oh, another thing. And he kind of like reaches around for a little bit. He takes out another one of the tablets. He's like tapping away on it. And he goes, "Did you find out who hired the pirates? Because I really need to know that for the company's insurance fees."
I'm gonna give him the username because I forgot the username.
I believe it was XXX Big Stone XXX.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. And he goes, and he goes, of course it was him. All right, fine. And he kind of like stands up from his desk.
Care to explain?
He goes, it's like, be lucky that none of you have to deal with the corporate world as us executives have to. When people say that it's a cutthroat organization, they may or may not be understating the problem. And he taps a button on his desk and he leans into it and he goes, "Clarice, could you call Mr. Stone down to my office? I need to have a word with him this evening." And she goes, "Of course, Mr. Gilks, I'll give him a call right now." And he's like, "Thank you." And then he reaches into his desk and he pulls out a gun and he puts it on the desk and he goes, "Gentlemen, I didn't get where I am today by being a pushover. And sometimes you need to play hardball to get what you want." And he cocks the gun back and he goes, "So, I ask that none of you hang around my apartment tonight because I don't want you to be witnesses to the murder if I have to kill this man. So, have a good evening, and I'll talk to you all sometime in the morning."
Wouldn't be the first time, and I'm gonna ruffle forward my trench coat and leave the room. Honk in tow.
All right. So you leave.
I'll give him a little wave before I depart.
He kind of gives you like a nod, and waves you away. And Bonus, I think Bonus like goes over to the gun and like field strips it, and like cleans it for a second, and then puts it back together and puts it back in the desk and walks out.
Does he say it should work better now?
Yeah, he's basically like, "Clean your guns," and then leaves. And then as we leave, Bonus is just like, he could have blown his hand off if he had fired that thing in that state.
That's the last time I try to risk myself for anybody else. I'm confiding in Bonus right now, and Mr. Fixer.
Bonus just kind of shrugs, and as we are as us
Well,
three. Oh yeah, what's
I'll be honest. Admittedly, I wasn't there for the whole thing, but from what I heard, it sounds like you guys could have used a better negotiation.
Like I said, last time I risked my neck for anybody else.
And as we leave, we So we kind of like leave past the secretary's office, her desk, and at her desk is a very young, early 20s, uh, like business person in a suit, a dress shirt, tie, slacks, and he is yelling at the secretary, being like, "Please, I need to see Mr. Gilks. He's like I need to see him. He's like he's I need to talk to him about a promotion that I've been set for like months. He's like let me in to see him." And she's just like trying to talk him down and be like, "No, I'm sorry. Mr. Gilks is busy right now." And then he sees the three of you leave, or the three of us leave, I guess. And he rushes over and he goes, "Hey, Mr. Gilks, is he in there? I need to talk to him."
Listen, kid. Whatever promotion you're supposed to be getting, don't hold your breath. You've got a better chance working freelance.
And he's like, "Ugh." And then he turns back to the secretary and he's like, "Let me see him." And she's like, "I'm sorry, sir. He's busy right now." And then he's like, "Those three just left. What do you mean he's busy?" And she's just
Kid,
like nonchalantly
now
just
it's
trying
not
to
a
like.
good time. Trust me.
And he's like, ugh. And he turns to the secretary and he goes, "Tell him I'm gonna be back tomorrow." Or like, he says, I'm gonna be back this evening." And he turns around and storms away, really kind of frustrated and anxious about whatever it
I'm gonna
was.
turn to bonus. Kids these days.
Bonus just kind of like chuckles and is like, "Yeah, tell me about it."
Knowing damn well that Pharaoh's like 20.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
He's
Bonus is
like
like
he's like
40.
23. He's like 23.
Yeah, Bonus is like 40 something, so he's he's like, yes, children.
Cairo's feeling the age.
It's the stress of the job, man.
Yeah.
Ah. Yes. The stress of the job that is making me constantly want to pull out my hair.
Occupational hazards, I guess. Yeah. So, where did the two of you spend your evening?
Well, I'm gonna get some ramen and go back to my room.
All right. Do you go to the C platform dispensary and get weed ramen, or you go to the
No, just regular ramen.
regular ramen? All right, regular ramen it is. What about Mr. Fixer?
I'm going to find Bonus because Karu's in a very bad mood right now. I'm going to
Yeah.
ask him what the hell happened while I was, out.
You mean
Bonus,
updating to Windows 24?
Yeah,
Yes.
updated Windows.
Sorry, I didn't know what to tell you, dude. The forced updates it really sucks. I tried to turn them off, but
If you had stayed by the helicopter, if you hadn't have come in, you would have been dead.
Yeah, you would have been blown to smithereens. So you find Bonus. He is in his cramped little sailor's quarters, kind of reloading and cleaning his guns and stuff. And you walk in, and you're like, what did I miss? And he's like, well, we interrogated the remaining goon outside. He gave us the username of the guy that hired him and stuff. Then Cairo threatened to drown him by tossing him into the ocean with the life preserver tied around his ankle. And then when he
After robbing him.
yeah, then when he took his wallet and took his money, he saw a picture of a dog in his wallet. So deciding to quote unquote spare him, he put the life preserver around his arms instead, and then tossed him into the ocean. I wouldn't consider that any more merciful than the other option, but whatever. And then we went and breached the bridge, and then I assume you woke up or at some point because you kind of got there towards the tail end of that conflict.
indeed.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna stop by Fixer's quarters and put the wallet with his ID there
Okay.
so that he can copy the face so I can steal the money later.
Alrighty.
Okay.
I can only assume that his bank cards are in there and stuff, so
Well, he has he has one bank card in there that's like a cred stick, that's like a burner cell phone but for credit cards. It's like a
Ooh,
really cheap sort
interesting.
of like okay, because we're all involved in the underworld. We know what these things are. These things are pretty much like, this is the credit card you use if you want to hide some shady cash from some shady places and people in a secret bank account somewhere. You know.
Now that I'm gonna hold on to and take all of his money because he doesn't need it anymore.
Um, yes. Okay. So yeah. So you drop his like ID and stuff off at Fixer's place for him to copy. And yeah, that's all the bonus tells you. He's just like, yeah, you didn't miss a terrible lot.
Didn't miss much.
Yeah, just some casual intimidation, followed by what is basically homicide, uh, and then some more homicide.
Ah, I see. Well, thank you then. And I'm just gonna go back to my room.
All right, you go back to your room and you see the this random wallet with like a sticky note on it that says "copy face for later" on it.
Ah, I see. Very formal.
And four is the number four.
No, it's not even gonna be a copy. It's gonna be Control C for later,
Nice.
Wow.
and later is going to be LAR.
Nice.
It's discriminatory, you know.
Yeah. Or it's in binary, so only you can read it.
11110011011.
Yeah. So yeah, you find this wallet with this photo of a dog in it and this dude. Seems like ID.
Now, do you ask yourself, does he mean copy the dog?
Oh, for sure.
Copy the dog. Yes. Ultimate fursuit. Holographic dog copying.
Transformers.
Animorphs, bro.
Animorphs.
Animorphs.
Animorphs. Yes.
Yes.
Bank robbery, but we're animorphs. What's this Shih Tzu doing in the bank? I don't know. Let him through. Let him in the vault. It'll be fine.
What is it, Lassie? Little Timmy fell down the well?
Little Timmy got.
Hello, human.
Hello, human. Fellow human.
You just hear in like a really shitty Texas speech voice. Put up your hands. This is a robbery.
Put the money in the bag. Oh,
Put it
God.
in.
Yeah. So,
Oh, perfect.
I assume we all just kind of mope in our rooms, I guess, for the evening.
Yeah.
Fixer
Yeah.
finishes his Windows updates. After he sleeps, he like updates, he like uploads all of his like current memory for the day to the cloud. Until he sleeps.
Also, Dakota, what do you want me to label the guy I copied? Just pirate or?
I'll,
Pirate.jpg.
yeah, call it a pirate merc.jpg.
Sure.
I'll name him later when we have to actually take his money. I'll name him at that point.
So when I get back to my room, I'm gonna keep working on Ank's AI.
Okay.
Give it personality
All right.
and whatnot.
Roll me an intelligence check. Two. Is that a pass? I don't know.
Intelligence of 8.
Okay. So, you managed to do a little bit of work on it, but you're not used to artificial life systems and stuff, so it's taking a little bit longer than usual to kind of establish everything. This is like really advanced AI coding, like personality coding. So you're just like,
Yeah.
you like open the program up, and it's just like this giant wall of text, and you're like, this is gonna take a while.
I'm also still hung up on the dolphin dive that I did off of a crate over another crate to try and grab this detonator
The Matrix dive.
that I failed,
Yeah.
even though I got a crit success.
Yeah. So yeah, you work on his personality core. What trait do you want to give him?
What?
What trait do you want to give his personality? Like what, you know? What was your goal with adding to the personality? Were you gonna give him like a trait, or are you gonna give him a voice? Gonna give him, what's your?
Well, I'm not gonna give him an out loud voice, but as in like it comes up on my HUD
Okay.
and I can understand the voice. He's gonna speak English, but it's gonna be a very like kind, calming voice
Mm,
until combat is engaged,
nice.
and then it goes to a dog's growl.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, you pre-program that.
So like a basic text to speech,
Yeah.
like a Titan OS from Titanfall.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you do that. It takes you a good few hours to kind of work out artificial systems and stuff, but eventually you do manage to program that properly.
Very nice.
And
The rest of the time, I'm just gonna sleep because, yeah, I'm
okay.
gonna eat and sleep and work out,
Alrighty. So
keep myself in shape.
the that evening goes by fairly uneventful. Um, and we all wake up on a new day. Is this the right song for this? Ah, yes, it
Oh
is the
no.
right song. Beautiful. Um, so yeah, we wake up to our, some lovely music playing over the C platforms, like PA system, very calming music. But of course, we all wake up combined with this calming music to somebody banging on all of our doors, really aggressively.
Yeah, I'll go out and see what's up.
It is everybody.
Simultaneously or what?
Yes. No. I'm gonna roll a 1d4 to see whose room he knocks on first. Epic. So, Fixer, Mr. Oid, you hear a loud thonking at your door.
I guess I'll fucking stop doing Windows updates or whatever, and I'll open the door.
Open the door, and it is the good old Hermes Johnson. He's there. He stands in the doorway, standing there. He looks disheveled. His hair's a mess. His like tie is crooked and like a little bit loose. His shirt's untucked. His shoes are scuffed. His belt is a little bit looser than normal. His pants are dirty. He looks unwashed and tired, and he kind of like really like hyped up and anxious. And you open the door, and he stands there, and he goes, he whispers now, and he's like, "I came to you because I don't know how Mr. Pharaoh is doing still, so I came here. I came to you first. We need to talk now."
All right.
Kairo's legit asleep.
Yes, it's a bonus.
Like
I guess.
he's sitting at a desk
He's
with
unconscious.
with his hollow HUD in front of him. Code scrambling by as processes run on Ankh.
All right. Well, I take the dude by the shoulders. I pull him into my room. I leave and I close the door on him.
So you're just leaving him in the room.
While I go to get the others.
Okay. Okay, while he's in there, he plants 8,000 bugs across the entirety of the... No. It's pretty funny, though. Okay, yeah, so you go out into the hallway, I guess, and, all the rooms are right next to each other. So whose room do you knock on first?
Bonus.
Alright, you,
Wow. Thanks.
You knock on Bonus's door, and the door opens, and he's there, still lying in bed. He's like, well, actually, his mask is still on because he naps in his mask was on a job. So he's sitting there, and you kind of like think like, how did he open the door from across the room? And you look down, and he threw like a bullet at the door opening mechanism at the button, and
I'm not gonna ask.
that's how he opened it. He's chucked a bullet at the button, and he's like, "What do you want, robot man?"
Go to my room. It seems we have some business to take care of today.
He's like,
And then I leave.
He's like, and here I thought I was gonna get to go and party it up. And he kind of gets out of bed and stretches out really quick. I think he probably like was only wearing like a sleeveless Guinea t-shirt. So he kind of like puts his trench coat over his shoulders, no shirt, who cares, and just walks out into the hallway and into Mr. Oid's room.
Kyra's in full clothes, by the way. He hasn't changed.
Of course.
I would expect nothing less.
Yeah.
So yeah, I go to Kyra's room, knock on the door.
What?
We have more things to do today.
Kill me.
Gladly, if you'd let me.
Sarcasm. Alright, fine.
Unfortunate.
I'm gonna get up and open the door and summon Ankh to me as I flick my head forward and my mask flips up.
Alright. Yeah, Ankh. He beep boops up. His Windows updates having finished installing.
Ankh, status report, what time is it?
Probably like a solid 5 in the morning.
What the fuck is this? And then I'll go to his room.
Alright. So you enter the room, Mr. Oid and Cairo. And Bonus is there, standing there. You can't see his face through the mask, but his posture tells you that he's still also pretty tired. And then there's also the Hermes Johnson, who looks like he hasn't slept all night and is like shaking with like paranoia and anxiety. When the door opens and he like jumps a little bit and he's like, God, like, okay, all right. You guys are here, right? You're all here.
Well, the three of us standing in front of you would dictate that, yes, at 5 o'clock in the morning. Why?
Like, you weren't followed, right?
Not that I'm aware of.
Bonus leans his head out the door, peeks it back in. I don't think so.
I don't even think people that are sent to follow us are up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
And he goes, okay, good, okay. And he like gets up from sitting on Fixer's unused bed.
Is there a detour between here and the point?
He like stops and he looks to you and he puts his hands together and he kind of like puts them to his like chin and he's like, yes, no, okay, I understand your point, Mr. Farrow. Okay, well, it seems that we have a problem.
And
he begins pacing the ground again, and he stops, and he does a full 180 turn on his heels. He's not wearing shoes; he's wearing only in socks. And he turns around and he goes, "There's been a murder most foul."
I'm pretty sure we just murdered like 7 or 8 guys on a boat yesterday.
He's like,
And what about this murder makes it particularly special?
the Johnson looks at Cairo and goes, "Yes, remind me not to inquire too much about your private business. Anyway, yes, Mr. Oid, you asked the correct questions. This murder is most foul because, you see, Mr. Gilks is dead."
Unsurprising.
Well, I could probably tell you who did it. That kid that was going around asking for a promotion.
He's like, well, you see, the situation isn't quite as simple as that. You see, okay, how do I say this? All right, so met with him. You saw the guy. You told him some stuff. Told him how the mission went. I talked to him as soon as you guys left for like 5 minutes. Then I left, and then I woke up this morning really early because I had to go to the bathroom, and it turns out that a cleaning crew, maintenance crew that was sent to his office, saw, and found his body early this morning.
Very well then.
And
Has the scene been touched at all?
well, define touched.
Moved. Disturbed. Has anybody moved or removed anything?
Well, we aren't quite sure the time of death yet. So we could have died at any point between, like, you guys, after you guys saw him to.
Has it
now.
been touched since the scene was found?
No. The platform security officials cordoned off the suite. And I've been keeping an eye on it since the botched.
Give me 10 minutes and I'll be there. And I'm leaving the room.
And he goes, yes, but wait, I will warn you, why I would ordinarily not bother you all with something like this. This sort of things happens relatively frequently with people like Mr. Gilks, who nobody likes. But the bigger issue is that if we don't find out who killed him, we don't get paid.
This is an issue now.
And I will also point out that the company has already called for a third-party investigator, shall we say, from another company. And I will just tell you all right now, when the yacht arrives to transport people to and fro, and that third-party detective gets here, they will take one look at all of you, blame you all, and have you all arrested.
Good luck with that. Look, I'm sure that you'll have someone out here to replace Gilks by the end of the day. We'll find out who did it and dispose of them. Only so we don't get framed.
He's like,
yes,
I believe
if and only if this guy goes pointing fingers, then we need you to back us up. And if you don't, I will search to the ends of the earth to break both of your kneecaps, and then decapitate you in front of your family.
He's like, well, I can certainly do my very best, but my influence in the company is still limited.
That's the only response that he has to me openly threatening him at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Well, you get the feeling that this sort of thing happens to him a lot. He gets threatened very frequently because the corporate landscape is deadly, as he has previously stated. So he's like, yes, well, yes. For all four of our sakes, I suggest that we collectively get on this as soon as possible. But feel free to, I don't know, eat breakfast or something.
No need.
I don't need any of that stuff either. I have already taken my breakfast in Taft's nose.
All right. I'm gonna go to my room and get ready, and then get a cup of coffee. Or I should say a thermos of coffee, because I'm gonna need it for this day. Just wanted to go home.
Right, yeah, you get your thermos of coffee and stuff.
Uncle, let's go. You're on scan duty. Scan the face of every individual that we pass on the way there. I'm saying to Ankh, by the way.
Well, no, I know. I'm thinking about something else.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna bring the Hermes guy. I want him to do something while we're actually investigating the scene.
Okay. Yeah, sure. You kind of like drag him along with you, and he's like, "Oh,
well, actually,
okay, yes, sure, I'll come with you."
I began to pull him along, but once we get to the entrance of the doorway, I turn to him and I go, "You should probably clean yourself up, I hate to say this, but you look quite poor.
And he looks quite poor. He like turns away from you and stares into the corner of the room, eyes really wide, and goes, "Poor." And then just kind of like shivers a second and goes, "Yes, I will. Yes, I will go do that right now." And he gets up and he
Yes,
just
yes, right.
speed walks out
Meet
of the room.
us at the scene once you're ready.
And he goes, "Yes, of course. Yes, of course. Of course. Yes, yes. Okay." And he goes. And he just like speed walks off into the distance.
It's gonna be a long day.
All right, so I assume we're all at the scene crime now.
Yeah, I'm there. Is Bonus there? Or does he
Uh,
just not care too much?
bonus is there, but he's not like. Well, he doesn't seem particularly enthusiastic, but he's there. Um, and so you get brought into to the elevator after the suite. You pass the secretary's part of there's like a little office, and she's not there. And the door that leads into the main rest of the house, the rest of the office part of his penthouse, there's like a yard security tape across the door. And when each of us approaches, the tape turns green and the door opens to let us in.
Hmm.
And,
I've got one guess of who did this.
you walk through the kind of marble, columned and floored and tiled ceilinged foyer, and into through the double doors, past the fountain that he has in front of his office in a penthouse on a sea platform, and into his office,
Hmm.
and covered by, well, I guess, yeah, covered by like what the white plastic sheets. Right in front of his desk is presumably Mr.
In
Gilks'
front or
body.
behind?
In front. The rest of the office is, just looking at it, is a mess. The desk, so all like how, like all those papers and stuff on his desk before, they've
Hmm.
they've all been tossed off to the side of the desk. They've been like shoved off the side. All the tablets and the computer screen is like off off the desk side. The chair is like away from the desk, but not like that's still like upright. Um, there the floor of the office, which is like carpet. Um, there are like bits of glass on the floor because his desk is glass. Um, the One of the two chairs that are in front of the desk, like opposite his chair, um, is knocked over. The bookshelf appears to have been jostled, and some books are on the floor. Mr. Gilks' gun, the one that we all saw him pull out yesterday, the day
Hmm.
previously, that gun is on the desk. The only item still on the desk, and yeah, just a sheet covering what you assume to be his body.
Hmm. I've got to guess who did it.
As do I. Well, two actually, but
Well, let's hear yours then.
well, obviously, first choice is the man who seemed to be angry about a promotion or something. I assume he came back here at some point yesterday. And my second is the person who Mr. Stone wanted to talk to about that whole pirate business.
Oh,
However,
no, The guy wanted to talk to Mr. Stone.
Yeah,
The
Gilks
person
wanted
I'm
to talk to
thinking,
Stone.
Gilks wanted to talk to Stone, so I'm guessing that's who it is. So
yeah,
I'm gonna go and try and find this Stone guy.
All right. So how are you going to try to find this Mr. Stone?
I'm gonna, hmm, hmm. That's a good question. I'm assuming the Johnson is here.
Yeah, he's still there. Yeah, he. So when you like walked to the secretary's like office, he was there, kind of like semi hyperventilating outside of the door. And when you arrived, he just kind of walked in, following us.
I'm gonna turn to him and like snap in front of him.
He looks to you. He looks a bit more cleaned up. His suit is different. His hair's a bit more tidied. His
You know
pupils
this.
still massive.
Do you know anything about this stone person?
And he goes, "Ah, yes, Remington Stone. He's another executive here at Hermes. I believe him and Mr. Gilks never really had a particularly pleasant relationship with one another.
Where is he?
I believe he has a suite somewhere else on the sea platform. I can find out for you if you wish."
Please do. I think I'm gonna pay him a visit.
He takes out like a smartphone basically and like taps away for a few minutes looking. Yeah.
All right. And I have a few questions about the room, the suite, everything leading up to it, basically. What is surveillance like?
I'd assume that there would be some kind of surveillance.
You haven't seen any cameras, but Pharaoh might know how this works a bit
What
more.
is this
Make me an
that I
intelligence
might
check
know?
to see if you like to see how into like seafaring and like sea platform design you're familiar with basically.
2.
Two again? Wow, you should start using that dice. So you vaguely, because you remember, like you remember this like model of sea platform basically, and you
Yeah.
are kind of familiar with how like fancy mansions and stuff usually handle security, because the
Hmm.
high class people consider security cameras to be kind of like barbaric, almost like uncivilized. So
Hmm.
they have, as part of their automated security systems, many of them have um, sensors that detect when doors are opened and closed and stuff like that. Uh, and you would assume that this platform has something similar because we haven't seen any cameras at all,
Yeah.
and this is like a really high
I'll
security
describe
place.
it.
So
I'll describe it to whatchamacallit. I'll describe it to Oid.
Hmm.
Like how it works vaguely.
Well, if there aren't any cameras around here, then that makes this a bit more difficult.
Well, you
But I
could
suppose
check
the
to
door
see
sensors will help.
when the door sensors were triggered.
Well, yeah. Suppose that's what we'll start with.
Here, bonus, you come with me, we'll find this stone guy. Boyd, you stay here and keep up with the investigation.
alrighty. So who wants to go first?
I'll go back over to Hermes Johnson and say, "You got a room for me yet?"
And he goes, "Yes, yes. She's just this way," and he leads. My apologies. Leads us
I'm
back to
gonna
the suite.
I'm gonna draw my pistols and flick the safety off.
Alrighty. So we head down the hallway into following the Hermes Johnson, who has like a GPS tracker on his phone, like Google Maps almost.
Yeah.
Uh, it's probably called like the Feather because it's a Hermes GPS system. And he follows it.
So when I flick the safeties off, does he like get kind of nervous?
Uh, to your surprise, no, he's not. He just kind of keeps going unperturbed. And he eventually you stop in front of a very similar kind of you take the elevator down from Gilx's suite to like a lower floor, but beneath him. And this is like the smaller suites used for less important executives, basically. Um,
Hmm.
and he kind of leads you down a hallway, and sure enough, above the door of this like sliding hazy glass door. Above it says, Mr. Remington Stone, um, regional manager.
I'm gonna turn to Bonus. What do you think? Bad guy, worse guy?
Bonus cracks his neck. It doesn't offer a word response, but he cracks his neck.
Knew you'd understand. Alright, open the door.
And then Johnson kind of taps the touch screen next to the door, and he kind of taps the screen. A little circle, spinny thing pops up in the center of it, and eventually a little handprint pops up, and the Hermes Johnson puts his hand up to the door, and it scans it, and the door opens, and you walk in, and there is Mr. Stone's secretary, who is a bit of an older, maybe early 30s. She appears to be Asian descent, and she's behind the desk, identical to Gilk's secretary. Her office is the same deal, but smaller. And you walk in there, and she's like, Mr. Xander, how might I help you? And when the two of us walk in behind him, she's like, how might I help all of you?
Open the door.
And she's like, she ignores you entirely. She only talks to Mr. Johnson.
I'm gonna aim my gun at her. We're not going to ask twice.
And Johnson, now he reacts, and he steps between you and the secretary, and he's like, we can't do that. You can't do that
Well,
here.
if you want to find the person, I think I know who did it.
He's like, if we are wrong, and you go in there with a gun pointed at him, he will kill you. You cannot go in here guns blazing, or the automated security drones here will turn you into Swiss cheese faster than you can say help.
So I'll pull the gun back and release the hammer. Fine. Just get the fucking door open.
And he's like, let me do the talking then, alright, gentlemen? And he turns back to the secretary. And the secretary, he turns around. The secretary has a gun pointed at him. And he's like, Sharon, please. And she puts the gun under the desk again. And she's like, of course, Mr. Xander. Mr. Stone will see you now.
Funniest part is, I'm the charisma character.
Yeah, and you're not there.
Yeah.
Because you're doing the smarter thing and acting like investigating the actual crime scene. So she gestures a hand, and the door behind her also slides open. And Hermes Johnson kind of nods to her and is like, "Thank you very much." And he nods, and gestures for you and Bonus to follow after him.
Yeah, I'll go in.
All right, so you enter, and unlike when Mr. Gilks's suite has the secretary's office, then beyond that is this long hallway full of marble columns and super gaudy, unnecessary stuff, and then you get through another two set of doors, and you can go to the actual house. This is an only right into his office. There's no living area here. And you walk in, and his office is decorated like a museum almost. It's very like an antique collector almost. The walls have African tribal shields and spears on them, and there are weird idols around, and different mosaic tiles and on the floor, and it's really this appears to be a man who enjoys anthropology and archaeology and stuff like that. And you walk in, and sitting behind a giant mahogany desk, because every desk in my universes are mahogany apparently, is a very, very tall, very, very muscular, Middle Eastern, Northern African looking dude. You would guess.
Remington Stone.
kind of looks up, and he goes, "Who's asking?"
People that have been hired by this company. Now you're going to tell us where you were last night.
He's like, "Where I was last night." He's like, "Well, It's like, well, how could I possibly forget?" He's like, and then he sees the Hermes, like the Hermes Johnson walk in, and he goes, "Oh, Mr. Xander, how are you? Take a
Drop
seat."
the act. Tell me now.
And the Hermes Johnson turns around again and goes, "What did I tell you about letting me do the talking?"
I'm done talking. And you can see, like, you can tell from Cairo that he is right on the edge of snapping because he is done with this.
And Hermes Johnson is
Oh,
kind of
I have a
like,
feeling this is not going to end well for us.
no, it's not. Hermes Johnson like kind of like puts his hands like up towards you and is like, "If you are wrong, he will kill all of us. So take a chill pill." And then he turns around, and he's like, "Mr. Stone," he's like, "have you heard about the unfortunate accident that happened last night?" And he goes, "No," and he kind of like tilts his head a little bit. And Mr. Xander, the Hermes Johnson, sits down, and the chairs in here are like leather, and there's a bear, like a full bear, like skin rug on the floor and stuff. And he sits across from Stone, and he's like, "Well, I believe you'll be happy to know that Mr. Gilks is dead." And Stone goes, "Ah, so that explains the hired muscle then." And he kind of like looks up towards Bonus and Kyra.
I'm standing. I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah,
I am inside of my mask, fuming.
yeah. Bonus is all similarly like standing behind the Hermes Johnson, arms crossed, being the stoic bouncer that he was born to be. Um, and the Hermes Johnson is like, "Yes, well, as I'm sure is to be not your unsurprisingly, you are of course a suspect in this investigation. So we were wondering if you would provide an alibi for yourself." And Mr. Stone goes, "Well, I suppose my alibi isn't as stalwart as you might expect. I did meet with Mr. Gilks last night. He had me summoned to his office because of some outside business related to our industry and the management of certain assets by the company. And I will admit,"
He found evidence. We found evidence that you hired people to hijack a boat.
and he looks to you and looks back to Mr. Johnson, and he goes, my, Mr. Xander, it seems that your hired goons have quite a mouths on them, hmm?" And Mr. Xander just kind of is like, "Well, you see, the unfortunate death of Mr. Gilks appears to be threatening all of our paychecks at the moment, so we are all understandably under stress." And he goes, "Ah,
I
yes, I understand."
I regret not coming.
You
uh,
should. You should regret not coming.
yeah, and Stone goes, "Well, I will be the first to admit to you all, before I'm sure you found out on your own, the discussion between Mr. Gilks and I did not go quite as civilized or as pleasantly as you might imagine." And he kind of takes his hand out from underneath the desk, and his arm is wrapped in a bandage. And he goes, "Unfortunately, Mr. Gilks and I got into quite a bit of a scuffle last night over that very unsubstantiated claim your hired goon spoke about a few moments ago. Yes, Mr. Gilks did not take kindly to providing any evidence for this, and we got into a bit of a scuffle.
I'm
He
gonna
ended up shooting
I'm
me in
gonna
the arm."
I'm gonna swipe out my hand to project the face of the guy that I took the picture of.
Mm.
He looked familiar.
He sort of ignores you again. He just does not care. And he's like, so I will
My
admit,
my other hand is currently tapping the thumb of, or like the hammer of my pistol.
uh, and he continued to ignore you, and he's like, so I will admit we did get into a bit of a fight, but I did not kill him. As a matter of fact, although it hurts my pride and my own honor to say so, uh, he did certainly win when he shot me in the arm. So if you care to check the records, the medical facility will have the exact time of my checking in last night after my meeting because I was forced to flee for my own life as Mr. Gilks fired randomly out down the hallway at me.
So I'm gonna open comms with bonus.
Mm-hmm.
He's not clear.
Bonus just says, like, we need to check the medical center records.
I will also leave the room.
Alright, so you leave. Bonus and the Hermes Johnson hear this, but Cairo does not. As Stone goes, finally, the loud one's gone. Well, and then you hear them continue talking about like random stuff. The topic diverts
Does
quickly
bonus
from.
still have open comms with me?
No, he hangs up when you leave. He doesn't care.
Wow.
Um,
Wow. Thanks.
and they keep talking back and forth for a few minutes about everything. And then Hermes Johnson gets up, him and Mr. Stone, and Bonus and the Hermes Johnson leave through the front door and walk back out into the hallway.
I'm gonna go over to bonus. Well,
And he's like, I have no idea if he did it or not. He's like, but I think the medical records will definitely prove things one way or the other.
and who's to say that he didn't kill him while he was there?
He's like, well, we don't know a time of death or a method of death or have a murder weapon or any other type of evidence to point to anybody in particular. So,
Then what are we still doing here? We're not detectives.
he's like, I think we are now. And he just starts walking back towards the elevators.
This isn't what I signed up for, damn it. And I'll follow.
Is it in the job description?
It wasn't. Really wasn't.
And in the meantime, what is Mr. Oid doing?
I'm trying to get access to two things. One is like the security logs, I guess. I want to see what the sensors picked up yesterday, like the doors or whatever else he has. And I also want to like see if I can get into permissions to get into like the secretary's fucking thing or whatever, because I want to check his schedule as well.
Okay. So gaining access to the security logs from Mr. Gilks' suite isn't particularly difficult. It appears that the Hermes Johnson alerted the rest of the facility that, like, the four of us are investigating the matter independently, as well as the company doing it themselves. So yeah, you get access to the security logs easily enough. Get access to his schedule. You can find on like one of the tablets that was knocked off his desk. The screen's a bit cracked, but it's easy enough to gain access to it because you can just copy his fingerprints, and just gain access to
Basically.
all of his records. So are you looking? What you looking through first?
Security logs.
Security logs. Okay, so the logs tell you the door was opened when about the time that when we entered and when we left. I'm just gonna give you the actual times. It opened at 8:30 in the evening. Again at 8:43. Again at 9 o'clock. Again at 9:45. Then again at 11 o'clock. The log also says that a request for a maintenance crew was made from Mr. Gilks' private office line at 11:08. The door also says that it was opened again at 11:15. Then then again at there is a recorded request again from Mr. Gilks' private executive line, a message from his personal office to the office of a woman by the name of Diana Charmant and a man by the name of Callum Median. Then 2 minutes later, the door is recorded as being opened. Then at
what time was that message? Or those messages?
11:33, they're both sent. Then 11:35, the door is opened. Then 11:42, no, 11:47, the door is opened again.
42 and 47?
No, just 47. I misread. This font is weird. 11:47, and then again at 11:50, and that's it until 6:48 in the morning, when you assume the body was found at that point.
Okay. And the two people the message was sent to was Diana Charmant and who else?
Callum Median. I can provide names in the chat if you want, because they're spelt
That'd probably be easier.
pompously and on purposely hard to spell because they're rich people, so gotta have weird names. Bam. Yeah, so that's what you learned from the security logs, anyway.
So are you gonna send these names to us?
Not right now. I want to look through the schedule first.
All right.
So his schedule, looking through that, it says that
you should look around the time of the last door open.
The schedule says that he did set a meeting with Mr. Stone at 8:30. Then the secretary reports that a man by the name of Hunter DeVille came in with Mr. Gilks. Then at 9 o'clock, there is a pre-scheduled meeting with a man by the name of Antoine Forge.
Hold up. So Stone, Hunter DeVille, and then at 9 o'clock, there's someone.
Yeah. Then at 9 o'clock, there was a pre-scheduled meeting with Antoine Forge, and then the rest of the evening is unscheduled, like after hours, basically.
These are too many names.
What's the last name of Anton?
Antoine Forge, Forge.
Oh, just Forge normally?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
normal spelling.
Alright, so I'm gonna quickly post my notes in the chat just to make sure I have everything right. And then once I have all of that, I guess, copied down in my head, I'll just, send off a quick text message to both of the guys.
Alrighty.
Okay. Door opened 8:30. I'd say anything after 11 is fair game. So when I get this, I'm gonna look to bonus.
Yeah, that's all pretty much right. Yeah.
Um, I think we should find out who Diana Charmant and Callum Median are.
You can certainly ask around.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
All right. So do you ask the Hermes Johnson?
Yeah.
All right. So you ask the Hermes Johnson who Diana and Callum are, and he responds by saying basically that Diana is Mr. Gilks' ex-wife. That is currently involved in a very angry and territorial divorce with him because, of course, he wants to keep as much of that he can, and she wants to get as much from him as she can. And Callum is her boyfriend, her new boyfriend.
Well, another smoking gun that is going to be shot down, more than likely. Well, no time like the present, might as well.
All right.
Let's go investigate.
Who? What?
Diane.
Alrighty. So you ask Johnson, where can we find her? And he says that she is staying in uh, one of the smaller, like temporary suites, along with her boy toy. And he leads you and Bonus down another couple floors, over to their private suite, their private room. And he also knocks on the door. This doesn't have like a fingerprint scanner or anything. This is legit, like normal. And he knocks on the door, and it opens. And sitting in the door is a very tall, very muscled, white with blonde hair, like short cropped, like crew cut almost blonde hair, blue eyes, uh, like shirtless man standing there with a towel wrapped around his waist, and he's like, "Yeah."
We're here to ask about a murder.
He's like, "Oh, yeah, okay, sure, I guess, come in." And he leads you inside, and then from like a different part of the room, you hear a really like aggressively shrill voice yell out from somewhere unseen. It's like, who is it? And then the guy's like, I don't know. They're talking about want to ask us about a murder. And the female voice is like, well, uh, whatever. And a very thin, beautiful woman who appears to have had several body sculpting surgeries at some point in her life, um, walks out from a different room of the suite, and she's wearing like a swimsuit, basically like a bikini. And she walks out. And she's like, it's like Mr. Xander. Hey, what might I have the pleasure of welcoming scum like you into my house? And he goes, Diana, please. And she's like, no, don't Diana, please me, all right? She's like, what are you doing here? And he's like, well, your ex-husband's dead. And she's like, good. What other good news do you have for me today?
I'm gonna shoot a glance over to Bonus.
Bonus shrugs. And seems to be just enjoying the show more than anything else. And the Hermes Johnson kind of, it's like sits down on this really cushy couch, leather couch. That's initially living room area. And he's like, please, Diana, we're here trying to solve this murder so that we can get our paychecks. Just humor us for 5 minutes of your time. And she's like, fine, but if I miss my yoga class. I'm suing you." And he goes, "Huh, you can try." And she goes, "Oh, you know I will." And then sits down like on the couch across from the Hermes Johnson.
I'm gonna open up a private comm with bonus, no, I'm gonna shoot bonus a message. Fucking bureaucrats.
Uh, he replies back um, with like an emoji of just red tape.
Insightful as always.
Yeah. Yes. Uh,
Few words, but many meaning.
yes. What a profound man. Uh, yeah. So are you gonna? And the Hermes Johnson kind of, you know, gestures for you and Bonus to sit down and is like, "I'm not really sure what you guys want to ask her, so you know, be civilized, but you can talk to these people. I'm not afraid of these people as they are. I'm of stone, so."
Where were you last night?
Uh, and as you ask, Diana pulls out a really large, like cigar-looking thing, but it's a glow stick cigar, and it's made of gold. It's gold-plated, and she picks it up and she hits the button on it, and it turns on, and she kind of like takes a puff of it. She's like, "Last night." She's like, "Well, uh, Callum and I were summoned to that rat of a man Gilks' office very late last night, only to find ourselves cornered by him and his new mistress, that whore, and they were claiming that we had assaulted her in the hallway. Obvious slander, definitely lies. I threatened to sue him, he threatened to counter-sue me. We agreed that we were going to sue each other, and there were many expletives that I won't repeat in Mace Company here.
What was the message you received from his office? Both of you.
It was just a summons sent from his private office line. I've gotten it plenty of times from him and his team of lawyers. And she like AR sends you like a copy of the message, and it just says like you've been summoned to the office of Executive Gilks, and you know what, yada yada yada. At X
I'm gonna
time.
check the timestamp on that.
The timestamp says 11:33.
And you're sure you don't know anything about the murder?
He's like, "Murder?" He's like, "I don't believe so." It's like, "Well, I mean," and she turns to Callum and she goes, "Callum, dear, do you know anything?" And he just kind of like turns around and goes, "About what?" And she goes, "The murder." And he goes, "There's been a murder?" And she goes, "Don't
I'm
worry about that."
cringing.
Yeah, he seems, just the first glance, he seems like if you were to shake him by the shoulders, you would hear the rocks rattling in his skull. Uh, like it's like 95% empty space in there, man. And
I'm so glad I have trigger control.
and Diana just like, "Callum, dear, don't worry your little head about a thing." She's like, "Go get me a margarita, would you?" And he goes, "Sure." And he just goes and back in a different room, and you hear him like clanking glasses together. And she turns back to all of you, and is like, "Well, I don't necessarily approve or of such heinous methods." Uh,
Look, we're trying to figure this out.
like,
All
"Well,
right.
I don't have anything
We
to do
don't
with."
care about any previous encounters you two have had other than last night.
It's like, "Well, he summoned us to his office. We got into an argument, and then we left after after only 10 minutes or so."
Do you know of anybody else who might want him dead?
There are lots of people. He's like, "You must be new around here if you haven't gathered that much
Yes.
information."
I don't need the rundown again. just give me names. People that had sheer hatred for him. That's all I want.
Well, I don't know everybody's names, but I know that that Stone guy, he was always after Gilks, even before we split apart.
We already asked him. He said he was shot in the arm and went to the infirmary.
Well, I would certainly look into him. I might ask after his mistress. Her name's Selena Lovell. She feels like I always got gold digger vibes from her, but you know, you didn't hear
Well,
that
if you
from
come
me.
across anything, and I'm gonna hand her my AR card.
And she's like, a DJ. Yes, how quaint. She's
Not that card,
like,
just the card
just
with
the
my
card.
mask on it.
Okay, she's like, yes, of course. If I hear anything, I'll be the first to let you know. And
Hmm.
at this point, Callum walks back in and he hands her a margarita, and she's like, "Oh, thank you, dear," and sips from the margarita. It's like 6 in the morning. Early morning alcoholism amongst the bureaucracy is how it works.
I'm gonna send a message to the Johnson, who
Okay.
I have in my phone as a contact as Johnson.
Yeah.
Uh, do you have any bugs,
Hmm.
or can you get a bug?
He replies with yes, but not easily.
Well, if you can, put one in this room and Stone's room.
He's like, nope. This is innocent. Sends back no promises.
As long as you try. I'll be happy even if he tries.
Alrighty. Yeah. He sends back like a thumbs up emoji.
I think our work is done here.
And Diana's like, yes, dearie, please do leave me in my leave me to my business, please. I do have other things planned for today. And she puts the glow stick back in like the holder that's on the coffee table. And she takes the margarita and she goes, "Come, Callum, we have our yoga to attend to."
And I guess we'll leave.
All right, yeah. So you leave.
Alright, well, whoever this lady is, let's go see her.
Alrighty. So yeah, you inquire with the Hermie Johnson about uh, Ms. Lovell, and he tells you, yeah, that like she's the woman that Gilks got caught cheating on Diana with like a couple years ago, and that's what prompted the divorce. So obviously
Ah,
they all kind of hate each other.
yeah.
Um, and he's like, but yes, like she does have a room on the sea platform, although not everyone's privy to the location because, of course, you know, she's received threats before.
Hmm,
And he goes, but yes, I know where she lives, so I can take you there. And
please.
he leads you down. What's Mr. Oid doing? If he cares to do anything special in the meantime.
There are a couple of things I would like to check out with, well, actually, I can only check out some of these because some of them I don't know about, unless, Pharaoh's been sending me his, like, conversations or whatever.
Well, yeah, I'd do that.
Cool. And if, actually, let me add something to the list, since you guys aren't going to the infirmary right now.
So yeah, I'd probably send all this stuff to Mr. Oid.
Alrighty.
Oh, that's a good question.
Mm. All right.
What
Yeah.
was the cause of death?
So you're looking for
Oh, actually,
all that
yeah,
stuff?
that's something I'd like to know too.
The cause of death. Okay. Well, I assume since you're still at his suite, this isn't very difficult to figure out. You look over Gilx's body. It's pretty obvious to tell. He does have like bruises and cuts, but the most obvious sort of mortal blow, if you will, is that there is what appears to be a very old sacrificial, almost dagger jammed into his chest.
Oh,
Well, that would have been good to know.
so
Honey, I'll
what
ask.
what cues me into like the sacrificial nature of this?
It looks very old. It's not full like karambit. It's bigger than a karambit. It's like a kukri knife, it's like a machete basically. It's big.
Huh.
And it looks to be old. It's very ornate. The blade is very delicate. The hilt is like inlaid with gold and silver, like beads and some like gems and stuff, and it looks. Yeah.
What's the origin of it?
The origin?
Yes.
Well, Mr. Fix is a robot, so you can figure this out pretty quickly. It appears to be of African or Middle Eastern origin.
Well, there's our answer.
One moment, please.
There's the answer.
Yeah, I feel like I should have done this sooner.
Yeah,
I was
that
waiting.
would've
I'm like,
been-
you guys are gonna get that eventually.
This makes everything so simple now. We're running around for no reason.
So yeah, as soon as I discover this, I'm just gonna send a picture of it, with it in his chest to the other two. I'm gonna be like, it seems we have a new lead.
I'm gonna stop everybody in the hall. We need
Okay.
to find Stone now.
And Johnson's like, okay, but even if he is the one who did it, tread as lightly as you can. And he leans over to answer the rest of your questions.
I'm gonna send him the picture.
But while those two are going to talk to Stone again, I'm gonna try and figure out the other things that you
Alright.
still.
So, Gilx's gun, if I'm assuming you're referring to, is missing several bullets. I would say probably like 5 or 6. In terms of fingerprints, there are fingerprints all over this office from all different people.
What about the knife?
The knife has none. It's the one thing in this room that actually has no fingerprints on it. Pretty much.
And the gun?
The gun has Gilx's fingerprints. The barrel might have Stone's fingerprints. But that's it for the gun. The casings in the room, there are probably only like 1 or 2 casings in here, and then the rest are in the secretary's room or have been collected already. Bullet holes are in like the big marble hallway to get into Gilx's office from the secretary area. There are some bullet holes in the columns, some in the wall, dotted around randomly. And if you want to go to the infirmary, you can. Feel free to do so.
I'm just gonna write this all down, and I'll tell you if I need to have something repeated. You can go with the Pharaoh's part of this.
Alrighty.
Alright.
So we reach Stone's office again, and the door opens, and the secretary is there, and Mr. Xander, Hermes Johnson, is like, yes, Sharon, would you let us in to see Mr. Stone again? And she's like, oh, he's like, yes, he has a meeting in a few moments, so you won't have much time, but he's free for now, yes. The door opens.
So the Johnson has the picture, right?
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Alright, so we're gonna go in, I'm gonna keep my hand on my holster, but just keep it there.
Okay. Um.
So yeah, let's go in.
Okay. So you go in. Once again, he is there behind his desk doing some work, typing away at stuff. Um. And he looks up, seeing us all enter, and he goes, "Ah," he goes, "Yes, come back to bother me some more, Mister Xander." And Harvey Johnson's like, "Yes, Mister Stone, we're back. We have a new lead." And he shows him the photo of the knife in Dix's chest, and Stone's eyes go wide, and he leaps up from his desk, from his chair, and he stands up and he's like, "What?" And you see him quick turn around, and you see now that like you haven't really taken a good look at the office, but it's a really big office, and there are glass cases all over the place on the walls, on little like stands or pedestals, and he turns around and he um, goes through and he kind of like turns back to us and he goes, well, I suppose it'd be too much to ask all of you to turn around for me, so forget it." And he goes over to a large painting right behind his desk, and he moves it over. There's a safe back there, very cliche. And he quick puts his hand on up to the panel, and it skims his hand, and it clink open, and he opens it, and he reaches in, and he grabs what appears to be a very ornate, very old sheath for like a machete-sized weapon that has a hilt identical to the one in the photo on, like in the sheath, and he takes it out of the safe, and he goes to try to take the knife out of the sheath, and only the hilt comes off, and it's like cardboard. And he's like, this is a problem.
Now I'm sure you can see how this makes you look. Now I suggest you start listening. Either you help us, or you're going down for this.
He's like, well, yes, I understand how this may make me look, but I have no idea how this happened. And he kind of puts the
Well,
sheath and the like the
I'm sorry. Yeah,
yeah
huh?
I had to leave for a second. What happened when he pulled out the knife?
It was a cardboard.
yeah the hilt was fabricated. It was fake.
Yes.
The dagger was missing, and there was no like blade on the and he's like, the sheath is real. I carry it on my purse whenever I leave my office. It's a family heirloom, passed down generation to generation, brought up to Ryan's town from Africa when my family came over. Uh,
Well, now your options are either you help us or you go down for this.
and he's like, well, I will offer any help I can possibly provide. What do you
Who was
need?
in your office last night?
My office? Nobody, but like I said, I carry this dagger on me all the time. Like whenever I go, it's always on
Well,
my
who
person.
would have had access to it?
Anybody who walked past me, Mr. Gilks. Like I said, I got into a scuffle with him earlier. I didn't stab him. I cut his arm, but he shot me, so I
What
didn't have time to
can
stab him.
you provide to convince me
Like, of what?
that you didn't do this?
It was like the infirmary records. I told you he shot me in the arm, so I went to the infirmary. But I was there until, I don't know, late at night. I was there for a few hours. I had to put my arm back together.
Oh, by the way, I would have gone to the infirmary by now.
Alrighty. Yeah. So what are you looking for in the infirmary?
Well, I guess I'm just gonna walk up to like their front desk, and I'm going to ask them, if Mr. Stone was here last night.
So you walk up, and the nice, nurse behind the counter is like, "Oh, it's like, yes, Mr. Stone, he came in late last night. I think one of the other nurses was on duty at the time, but he came in, and she pulls up, taps on the desk terminal, and he's like, it appears he came in for a gunshot wound, and a bruised rib and some other, bruises and such. We had to stitch his arm back together and, seal the bullet wound, wrap it up, give him a brace to keep pressure off of it, and sent him on his way a few hours later."
Very well. If you wouldn't mind me asking, do you know the caliber of the bullet?
She's like, "Well, I can pull up the records," and she, pulls up the actual medical form that they filled out for the incident report, and then she ARs it to you, and the full report says that he logged into the medical center at 11:10. And left at 12:05. And the caliber.
That login time is very suspicious.
And the caliber of the bullet was 9mm, which is, you would know, is the same as Gilks' gun. It all matches up. And also, yeah, he had a bruised rib. He had some minor cuts and bruises. He had some glass stuck in his arm and part of his head, and some cuts and stuff on his face from the fight. He did the area where it lists the story for the incident report is left blank, and it just says exempt, basically, because he's an executive. He doesn't have to provide that information. Yeah.
So he went in 11:10, left at
12:05.
12:05.
Yeah, shortly after midnight.
Something is not adding up here.
You would be correct.
All right, well, if that's all there is to this report, I'll ship it off to the boys, and I'll thank the nurse for her time.
And she's like,
and then it's back to the suite for me.
All right, so you start heading back to the suite. In the meantime, any other questions you want to ask?
Also,
oh, yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Two things I forgot told me or not. So gunshot bullet holes in the hallway, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah, I think 4 probably in the hallway, and then one presumably in Stone's arm, and then another one in the door frame of his office.
Okay. And then did the crew hear any gunshots?
So you want to go try to find the cleanup crew?
No, anyone who has a crew quarters in this area.
Well, don't forget there was a maintenance request at 11:08.
So you want to ask the neighbors? Yeah, sure. You guys, the neighbors, the ones you can get a hold of, the only one or two that you actually find. They do report hearing gunshots. Yes.
What time?
Yeah, I'll ask that if he remembers the time.
The old man that you ask, he's like, "Oh, well, I believe it was I have to look at my timeline here. Hold on, give me a moment. Around 11 o'clock, about. There were a few gunshots, and then a little bit of a break, and then right after that, a few more gunshots, and I heard someone sprint down the hallway past my door, and I poked my head out. Nobody was there, so I was like, well, silly children and their fireworks indoors, and then I went back to sleep."
Well, I think of first time, and then I head back to the office.
Alrighty.
Is he sending all of this to me?
Yeah.
Alright. Well, looks like we know what happened. I'm gonna forward this to the Hermes.
Alright.
Mr. Stone, I'm not going to lie to you. The case against you keeps growing and growing. Your times don't match up.
What do you?
However, I'm not sure if this factors in, but I have sent to you that the knife didn't have any fingerprints.
All right, yeah, that works.
Well, I'll just ask the the evidence does prove that he was in the like 11 o'clock was when the fight happened, from your understanding, and he signed in 10 minutes later.
Yeah.
So that would be about enough time to get there and
Well,
stuff.
the whole thing is too. You've got to understand. His appointment is at 8:30,
Yes.
so that's his appointment. There were multiple door openings between 8:30 and 11:15 or 11 o'clock.
Yes.
So it doesn't add up.
Not everything does. Yeah, you're correct.
It's got to be him. I know this much.
So you tell someone like the times don't match up, um, and he's like, oh, well, I assume you're talking about the set appointment I had made with Mr. Gilks shortly before their closing time, correct?
Well, let's put it this way. Your appointment was at 8:30. You didn't leave until 11.
No,
Can you
I,
explain?
I, I left. I left around, I don't know, around 8:30. I saw a young man enter right as I had left. He seemed very anxious and like sweaty. Anyway, so I left at 8. After my appointment at 8:30. But I did go back at 11 to talk with him. I was hoping that he would change his mind. The terms of our agreement that we discussed very quickly at 8:30 were not to my liking, so I had hoped that we could discuss something else. But I walked in there. I said, "Hey, how about you don't blackmail me?" And he goes, "No," and he pulled out a gun. So,
Why'd you come back, though?
well, the appointment at 8:30, he didn't really let me in on the fact that he knew that I was responsible for the whole boat thing. So, when I went there the first time for my preset appointment and everything, um, I went there. He summoned me, and I went, and he was like, he's like, you need to give me all, you need to back off, and you need to give me access to all of your assets, and you need to step down from your position and give me all of your trade routes and yada yada yada. And I told him no, and then he was like, "You're gonna regret saying that." And then I left. And then, sure enough, about an hour later, like 9-ish, I get an email from him, and it's all the evidence accrued against me that I was the one responsible for hiring the mercenary pirate idiots to go and steal the boat. If I'm being honest, that was only really meant to be a joke. I But he took it very seriously and was like, "I'm gonna blackmail you for like treason against the company or whatever." And I was like, "Well, we need to talk about that." So I went back to his office. I didn't tell him that I was going to his office, which might have contributed to his hostile response. But I went there in the hopes of talking to him about everything. And when I brought up the fact that I was indeed responsible for the boat thing, and that he was, that I may or may not have been trying to blackmail him for losing the boat in the first place, and then he turned it around and was like, "Well, I'm going to blackmail you for starting the boat thing, unless he wanted me to give up most of my executive control over the sea platform, basically." And I told him, "Well, no, because you already run most of the sea platform." And he was like, "Too bad." And we got into a bit of a fight. We wrestled a little bit. Then he shot me, and then I left.
That still doesn't explain how your knife ended up in his gut.
No, no, I do not believe it does. How I lost my knife, I have no idea.
Who did you come into contact with last night?
He goes, well, there was Mr. Gilks. I did see that young kid as I left my first appointment. He entered at the same time. He seemed kind of weird. Again,
Was he close to you? Did he get in proximity? Was he able to possibly take your knife?
well, he got into proximity, but I think he was a bit too squirrely to have been able to do something like that. There was a few other times, at the medical bay, I was sedated while they worked on me. Um, I don't like my own blood, so I was gonna pass out if I had seen much more of it at that point. So I was unconscious for that, and then as I left, I ran into I believe her name is Ms. Lovell. The mistress of that pigman Gilks. She was there. She also looked bruised up and like manhandled. Though I don't know why, but we passed each other in the medical bay as I left. Hold on, I'm looking through my thing. Hold on. Okay. Yeah. So no. So as I logged in, she left. Yes.
Hmm. Do you know anybody that might have been capable of trying to replicate your knife?
Trying to replicate my. Well, I suppose anybody who had seen it before would have access to it, and many people have seen it. I'm very proud of my family heirloom, and all of my collection. He kind of gestures to the rest of the office. It's full of antiques and stuff like that, and artifacts. He's like, I'm a lover of history and anthropology, so I'm quite proud of my support for the historic arts. But like I said, everybody's that sees me sees my knife. I carry with me all the time. Someone who could have replicated it, willing enough to distract a sedated version of me. I will admit, I wasn't exactly in my best mindset after leaving the medical offices. That morphine is just good enough. Somebody capable of replicating it. Yeah, it could have been anybody, any of the executives. It could have been Gilks himself, for all I know. Although how he swapped it out, I don't know. There were a few people who I came into contact with. Any other questions? I'm being told to hold on a minute. Mr. Oid, anything you want to do?
So, as far as the casings go in his room,
Mm-hmm.
how many did I find?
2.
2?
Yes, and there were 3 out in the marble hallway.
And there were 5 spent from his gun?
Yes.
And they're all 9mm.
Yep.
Say what?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe we are suffering from technical difficulties.
All right. Well, I think my next move, if Shiro has been keeping me up to date on all the things he's been doing, is to check out who works at the medical office.
Who works at the medical office? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So so everything yeah, just assume that everything is always kind of transferred over. Um, okay. So you want to figure out who works there?
Yes.
They have one doctor, and then they have like a small staff of nurses. Most of the stuff is automated. Um, in terms of
Yes, I would have been sending Mr. Oid information by this point.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so most stuff's
Cool.
automated. In terms of like diagnosing and stuff like that, getting like signing prescriptions, that's all done by the actual doctor. But most of it is the nurses and the automated systems.
All right.
You say most is handled by automated systems, but does someone have to be present for like some procedures?
Yes, both doctors and nurses have to at least like have seen him, if that's what you're asking.
Cool.
Ooh, idea. Ask who came in to check on him.
Yeah, that's what I was going next. So would it be possible in looking through well, one, can I gain access to their records? Would that be a thing I can do with my privileges?
Which records? Like visiting records?
I guess.
Yeah, you can get access to that. The records show that nobody visited Stone while he was incapacitated, or like while he was signed in.
Does anyone in there have a personal connection to Stone?
Personal connection? Not that you can tell. And if you were to ask Stone, he would say no. Skip the role playing there.
All right. Well, I guess then I'm gonna try and find procedure records because I want to know who was Stone with while he was under.
Okay. While he was under, there was the nurse and the doctor that saw and/or worked on him at various times through his like hours stay in the medical bay. The nurse was there to, of course, like diagnose him and sign him in and stuff, and then the doctor was the one to have actually like stitched him and everything. The nurse would have been there to administer the sedatives and the morphine and stuff.
All right. Do you have names for them or?
I can if you want, but I don't think they were going to be important enough to warrant names.
Then I'll just put them down as doctor and nurse.
Sure. Feel free.
What time did Hunter DeVille come in?
To where? The office?
Yeah.
From what Stone told you, he entered when Stone left. So that would have been about 8:43. And it lines up
What
with
about
the doors.
Antoine Forge was at 9 o'clock.
Yes.
I mean, I guess the only person that really adds up was the person he was sleeping with.
This suspect list just got longer.
That is the idea, yes.
All right. Well, Mr. Stone, thank you for your time. I will say this much. If we can't come down to a clear culprit, you will be going down for this.
He's just like, Yes, I'm aware.
It would be within your best interest to get your affairs in order.
He's like, yes, I will be doing my best to find out who could have stolen my knife.
And I guess now we'll go check up on his leading lady.
All righty. I'll say that's a good cliffhanger to leave off on for this week.
Mm,
You guys are starting to get there. It took you a while to
so
kind of
much
get up on the
history.
basics, but you're getting there.
There was so much to comprehend. I was so done with this mission the moment that I missed the dead man's trigger. That was pure rage.
Yeah. Then I sucked you into a
But
murder mystery. Mwahaha.
yes, thank you everybody for joining us. Find out next week to see who done it. Uh, I it's it's been a mystery.
He was murdered
Thank you all so much for watching. Unfortunately, the downfall of Mixer is upon us, so there is that. We will be trying to figure out a new streaming platform to bring you more content with. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. For me and my friends, thank you all so much for joining us on Quest for the Core.